Hello and welcome back. So, in today's video, we're gonna take a quick look at some pedals I've made and talk a little bit about the different options I have tried out when it comes to painting the enclosures on the pedals. And so you can make your own decisions on what seems to work best for you. Keep in mind, this is just my experience with this and my suggestions to you. Try them all out if you want to and see what works best for yourself. So let's get to it. So here's the first pedal, and some of you have already seen the videos where I show you this one, and all I've done here is I've put a sticker on and then I've put a layer of resin on top and let it cure, and that's just to encapsulate the sticker on top. And this lets you see the bare metal. And you can also see maybe that it has some oxidation. It's not, rusting or anything like that. It's aluminium. But it does get a little bit dull. Especially, if you think about how it looked when I finished it, it was all nice and smooth and matte and polished to a almost mirror finish. And now it doesn't really look that mirror anymore. But that's an option that you can go for if you're more into the whole bare metal thing, or if that's the look you're going for with the pedal you're doing, then maybe this could be a way to go for you. I think it goes well with this pedal because it's a, robo voice pedal, and it's also a, sort of rustic thing. So it goes together with the paint picture on the pedal, and it also goes together with the sound effect. After that, I made this pedal, and the way I painted this pedal was that I spray painted it with a can of black lacquer, and then I put a couple of layers of clear coat over it. And I personally think that's a bad way to go. You can probably see that it has some small dings and scratches, and for some of you that might be fine. I didn't really want that to be a part of the look for this pedal. I've also put a picture on. It's the movie poster for the film Barbarella. It's an old film from the 60s, if you are interested. It's a funny old film. Anyway, and I put clear coat over it. But the thing is, I've only used this pedal like once, and it immediately started to lose some of its paint. I'm not saying you're going to have the same result, but keep that in mind if you want to do this. The next pedal I made is this one. It's a Big Muff clone, and the thing with this pedal is that I learned from the other pedal that the paint would be scuffed off, so I actually painted on some white paint, and I used regular paint that you use to paint your house, because I wanted it to get scuffed off, because I want to make this look like an old Soviet pedal. Maybe some of you people can read Soviet text and get super confused of the stupid joke that no one gets, because it's a very, very, very stupid joke between me and I suppose the people who get it. Anyway, I wanted this pedal to have the rustic look of having the paint falling off, so that's why I went with it. So it's not necessarily a bad idea, but I'd rather, you guys know about these details beforehand, and then decide if, making the pedal look beaten up is a part of how you want it to look or not. The next option is obviously to just buy a already finished box. And when you do that, you get something that is called powder coated. And that's a really durable finish that you can see on some tools and machinery and stuff like that. And also it's very durable, and it's also very nice and even coats. And what you can do with those is that you can paint on them. Here is, for example, just a quick line of paint I didn't really have a very good idea for what to draw on this pedal. I also wanted to keep focus on the big LED, but I still felt like having a small line, and you can use whatever you want to. You can use lacquer like here, or you can use different kinds of pens. You can put on a picture and then, you know, put resin over as a protective coating. You can basically do anything. On this pedal here, what I did was I actually took and put a little owl that is made out of metal. And it's just a super simple, easy little detail that makes this pedal look just a little bit different and a little bit fun and a little bit, you know, unique or whatever. It's not that difficult to do. It's just held in place with some 5-minute epoxy. And you can put other details and stuff like that. And since the knobs are higher up than the little owl, and also the switch is higher up, I've never had any problems with it, and I've used this pedal not a lot, but you know, a couple of times. And you know, I'm not the most delicate person with my pedals, so I think it's one of those things that will work for you. But let's say that you've bought the metal enclosure. You feel like, you know, because these are very much cheaper to buy than the powder coated ones. I think they cost like a third or something. So I can totally understand if you feel like, hey, I want to paint them myself. Also, maybe the color you want or the version of color that you want isn't available, so you want to paint it yourself. Well, then there is another option for you, and it's to do what I've done on this pedal. What I've done on this pedal is that I've actually painted it with a type of lacquer that is called hammer lacquer. And it's for tools and machinery that it's going to take beatings. If you have like an anvil or something that takes a lot of beatings and you want to protect it from rust and things like that, and you want to paint it, you might paint it with hammer lacquer, because you can actually beat this up. And I've used this pedal a great amount more than this pedal. And this pedal basically looks like it hasn't taken any beatings at all, even though it's been used a lot more. And this pedal has only been used once, so it's a very durable finish. I only have a tiny little mark here that I don't know how it happened. I don't even know if it shows up on the camera, but there's a tiny little mark right there. And that's the only mark I have, to be perfectly honest. I really like these finishes. They're super simple to put on. You just brush them on, and you can buy a bunch of different colors, and you can blend them together and make your own mix of different colors. And so even if you just buy like 2 different colors, you can make different variations, and you can have, you know, a lot of fun with different pedals. These are the options for painting. I have a last option, but that's not really a part of this, but I'm going to show you anyway. Some of you maybe have seen that I made this Clone Centaur in the end of last year, and obviously it's made out of wood. If you don't have an enclosure, or you feel like all the other options are boring or bad, then I suggest you try to just make a box out of wood. Make sure you're using hardwood and that you don't hollow it out too much, because you're going to step with your foot on the switch, and you need, you know, solid wood around it to make sure that when you step on it, you don't push this whole mechanism through and crack the wood. I made a new enclosure for a pedal a couple of years ago, entirely out of wood, and it was about 2 to 3 millimeters thick all around. Nice little carved out box, basically. And the first thing that happened when I stepped on it to try it out was that I just basically crushed it. So sometimes making really delicate and nice and perfect things can be bad. Yeah, so these are my options, basically. Obviously, you can come up with even more, but I hope this has been like at least giving you some sort of grounds to stand on when it comes to making decisions on your own ideas. None of these are like hard at all, so hopefully you'll try them all out and just see what works best. And the good thing is, like, if you really dislike, for example, the paint falling off, like in this one, you can just sand it off and then you can put hammer lacquer on it. And there are black hammer lacquers without this crackling effect. It's usually in the ones that have metal flakes in them and sparkle finishes that have that crackling. And you can also, I mean, make a new box that is out of wood if you realize that you don't like them, or buy a colored, power coated box if you realize that's the best, and then you can use the other box for something else. Or you can buy a color box, and then when you feel like, oh no, I really don't like the color, you can sand it off, or sand just the top off and just paint that and keep the nice thick protective color on the sides. You can really go anywhere you want with these, and you can do a mix between all. You can make a veneer on top and have it just go over half of it, and then have the rest painted and make power coated sides. It's, the world is your oyster, and you can do whatever you really want to. Anyway, I hope this has been somewhat informative, and that you got something out of this. There's going to be more videos about pedals and guitars and amps, and I hope you're going to stick around to watch those videos, and let me know what you think. Let me know if any of this helped you in any way, or if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now. Stay awesome.